Welcome back. This is going to be a more Nova prospect, but well, it seems the scenery has changed a little bit. Yeah, the Citadel is a very distinct color and architectural style, and it does seem as if somehow, for some reason, this prison is starting to develop signs of being another Citadel. And then, yeah, this happens. It almost makes you wonder, what is the Citadel made of? Is it some kind of living metal? Something that propagates itself? It is a concept that I don't think that the series ever really, touches on. And it is incredibly fascinating. Anytime you see the blue metal of, the Combine showing up, it seems like it's almost like growing into its surroundings. It's just fascinating. And I kind of wish that they would explore more of this, the idea of, some sort of, alive material. But whatever the case, here we are in Entanglement. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we should have been able to see this from the outside, but I'm not going to object. This is a pretty amazing revelation, all told. Just coming from what appears to be an ordinary prison into this. Oh, hi, Alex.
There. Gordon, you made it. Boy, am I glad to see you. We better hurry, Gordon.
Oh yeah, apparently she just, took a train and got here before us.
My dad's up there somewhere, in that holding area. It's gonna take some doing to get him out. Let's get out of here.
And to answer the question of where the prisoners are, they're in these hanging pod things. Just in basically what appears to be some kind of a storage area, almost like a warehouse. It's, remarkably inhuman, and I love it.
I'm afraid I'm flying blind here. Every now and then a Vortigaunt gets captured and sends back information, but we don't have a complete picture of the place. The little we do know is all bad. Get ready.
So yeah, Alex, she actually does do her own fighting in a way. She's got a burst fire pistol, and it does do its job pretty well. And Alex herself, she has the regenerating HP that all NPCs have, but, well, there's a limit to that, and we'll see that shortly.
This'll get me into their security system. Now to find my father. Oh my god. These poor people. There. All right, I think I can bring him in. There. He's on the way. Let's go meet him.
So this next bit, I'm actually going to have to confess, it goes a little bit poorly. Like I said, there's a limit to Alex's regeneration. She has a sort of limited HP pool, so if they do a fast enough amount of damage, yeah. Which is why in the retake I decided to just go full steam ahead and clear everything out myself. Under normal circumstances, Alex is able to just take care of herself, but it's that combination of 4 guys at once that makes it difficult.
me just get this open. There he is. All right. Let me see if I can get this open.
Gordon, is that really you? I can't believe you found me.
Dad, are you all right?
I'm fine, but you've got to get out of here.
We're here to get you out, Dad.
Never mind me. Save yourselves.
No, we're not leaving you. I think I can recalibrate the Combine portal to get us out of here.
But where will you go?
I talked to Dr. Kleiner. His portal was almost working again. If he's managed to repair it, we'll end up there. If he hasn't, well, we couldn't be any worse off.
It's not worth the risk, Alex. I can't lose you. Get out while you can.
We're not leaving here without you. That's final.
We can't leave Judith here either.
Don't worry, Dad. We'll find her. For now, I'm going to send you to the teleport chamber. I'm not saying goodbye, Dad. We'll meet you there.
I know you will. I'll see you there, baby.
Let's get out of here.
You'll pardon the being dead thing. I was just trying to kind of make a very silly point again. You know.
I'm gonna head back to the security station and try to patch into your suit radio. Wait till you hear from me. Hey, take care of yourself.
What's to worry about? It's not like it's going to be, you know... Oh yeah, it's a nest of head crabs. Okay, so maybe I should be worried a little.
Hey, it worked. Let's see what I can do to clear the way for you. Keep an eye out for Mossman. I'll get my dad through the prison as far as I can, then I'll catch up with you. Hang on, I'll see if I can figure out how to get that gate open. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so Alex is going to be sort of our control voice for a while here. Like, it's been a while since we had anybody, like, serving as a bit of a, like, advisor, so this will be somewhat helpful.
I'll have this open in a jiffy. Damn, it's jammed. Okay, I've got an idea. Head back to that office. According to the schematics, there should be a vent behind those shelves.
One of the challenges that the developers of Half-Life 2 had was trying to figure out how to create a female companion character who also wasn't just, you know, fan service. So they tried very hard to make Alex both tough and reliable, but also, like, lighthearted and fun, so it's interesting seeing the two contrasts.
Careful, Gordon. I'm picking up a lot of Combine sensors in the area ahead.
Yeah, I think that the thing we're more concerned about isn't really, like, Combine, but all these things. Also, the fact that there's, you know, a laser bomb, like, right outside this vent. But that's easily taken care of. Alright, I really dislike these things. Like, fast head crabs are the worst. I mean, you know, poison head crabs, they're pretty bad. Regular head crabs, also kind of bad, but the fast ones, yeah, they get the majority of my ire.
Uh-oh, look at the monitor.
I'm actually really happy with how these takes went. Like, I had a bit of a rocky thing with Nova Prospect, but I think that overall, like, this ended up going a whole lot better for me. With a few mishaps, but you know, nothing major. It really does help to do a test run before you start recording. You might say it removes a bit of the magic of like discovering these ambushes ahead of time, but nonetheless, it also makes Gordon a bit less clumsy looking. Oh, hello. Yeah, just because we're out of the chapter that showcases turrets doesn't mean that turrets will stop being a thing. They will continue to be a thing all game long.
You're coming up to another control room. Looks like it's still occupied.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that.
My guess is there's a bunch more soldiers heading your way. Quick, search the room. There should be some Combine turrets nearby.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there are. Which sets up the theme of this chapter, which is basically setting up turret emplacements. Fortunately, the timer doesn't start for the Combine to start coming in until you actually start setting up turrets, so there's plenty of time to survey the area and get an idea of what you're about to be facing. Anyway, what do we know about turrets? They're vulnerable to being knocked over from the sides, they can be easily tipped over by explosions, and generally they're really unstable and can fall over basically on their own, more or less. So, here's what we need to do. We need to wedge turrets in places where they have at least one side that they can lean against.
I can reprogram these turrets to attack the enemy. Set them up to defend the control room.
In this case, the solution is pretty obvious. Like, there are these handy choke points with corners that you can just place your turrets against. Unfortunately, in this case, like for the other side, I didn't really have time to get things set up, like I wasn't really being cooperative. So, yeah, things are going to go smoothly on one side and not so smoothly on the other. As you can see. But oh well, like, it wouldn't be very exciting if everything just worked perfectly. So then, yeah, it's time just for a bit of a siege. The Combine soldiers will generally try to slowly advance on your turrets, and then they'll just like try to go over and like knock them over. Unfortunately, the fact that they want to go out in the open, running right towards the turrets, makes them a lot easier to deal with than if they did something like, say, hiding out in cover and going after you specifically. That's actually an interesting phenomenon there. And I discovered it as well when I was doing some experimentation in Gary's mod. Environmental obstacles will in fact shield NPCs and allies from the effects of explosions. Like, yeah, in that case, the turret was directly exposed, but if there is even like a slight thing between you and the and the thing you're trying to explode, then, well, I mean, you saw it in Highway 17 with some of those rockets. Like, they were completely ineffectual because they hit a railing. Odd quirk indeed. Yeah, this one, it's wedged against a wall and a pipe. It's basically invincible. We only need to really worry about this one.
Be there in a second, Gordon. Sorry it took me so long. Glad to see you're okay. Let's see if we can find Mossman. It looks like this station might give me better access. There she is. Wait a minute. How'd she...
It's from your area.
I'm not calling about that.
What's she up to?
You promised you weren't going to touch Eli.
Oh my
The
god.
soldiers were a bit overzealous, I admit, but he was too tempting a prize to simply turn loose. Especially in the absence of Gordon Freeman.
You would have had Freeman if you'd been patient and just waited for my signal.
We weren't entirely sure you were ever going to get around to that. Human loyalties being what they are.
Dr. As I have stated before, you have to let Eli come around on his own.
I have known Dr. Vance far longer than you, my dear. I'm afraid your feelings for him may have blinded you.
Feelings? This has nothing to do with feelings. It's a simple truth that when Eli believes in
This
our...
is not open to debate, Dr. Mossman.
Doctor, please.
So sorry, Judith. I'm all out of time.
Damn her! I don't believe this! Come on, Gordon. Now we've really got to hurry. Go on ahead. I'll disrupt the next level of security and catch up with you when I can.
Yes, as it turns out, Mossman is a traitor. Yeah, I guess when in any story where there's a human resistance, there's always got to be one character who's not entirely like drinking the Kool-Aid. Now, I'm not accusing the resistance of being fighting for the wrong reasons. In fact, like, I feel like they're actually like fighting for the completely right reasons. It's just that it's sort of inevitable that there'll always be a, one character who like sells out our heroes. After all, it would be kind of a boring story if everybody was just on the same side unquestioningly. Even for a very, you would think, unquestionable cause as, they're trying to kill off all of humanity, and we really don't like that. So, yeah, electrified floor. It's funny, even in the heart of the Combine's power here in Nova Prospekt, there are still areas that they apparently don't give a crap about. Like, it was probably, like, too big of a nuisance to even, like, take care of this, so they just said, you know what, we don't need this place, let's just let it be. Not too much of a puzzle, really. Like, we've already seen what blue barrels do. They float. So we just gotta make ourselves a bit of a bridge, and, Bob's your uncle. Yeah, you don't actually want to get caught up in the water. Like, the electrified water is going to kill you real quick. Makes me wonder, like, what exactly happened here? Like, did some humans make a break for it and find themselves caught in a mess of head crabs, and then they just kind of were sitting there, and then they were discovered later by the Combine when they were trying to recover the escapees? There's a story here, but it could just be also, hey, we wanted to throw in some enemy variety. It's hard to say, really. I mean, there's already evidence that there were humans getting out with all these resistance dead drops that seem to be popping up everywhere, that it's kind of clear that the Combine did not, in fact, have a stranglehold over the prisoners here. I'm not entirely sure that was worth it. But they say that big booms are their own reward.
Contact has moved to Block D8. Warning. Sterilizers and containment seals may be compromised. Airwatch, augmentation force 6-8. Drop and converge immediately.
Ooh, Block D8. I think that's where we are. Are they talking about us on the radio? Yeah, that guy needed to work on his upper arm strength a little bit. But yeah, it's time for another set piece.
I'm picking up more incoming soldiers. See if there's some more turrets nearby.
Now this area here is a lot more complicated than the control room holdout. Like, you got all these different angles of attack that the Combine could be coming from, but also all these little hidey holes here that you could theoretically set up in. Like, this whole section has the potential for a great deal of mischief. Nonetheless, though, like in this first try, I think, okay, what if I spread this out a little bit and then I just put myself in a cell? Like I'm hiding out here while the turrets do all the work. Risky, of course. If the Combine knock over the turrets, then that means they're going to just start filtering in without any resistance. And if they throw a grenade, well, then I'm just right up a creek. However, well, let's get these things set up first, and then I'll talk about the weirdness that happened. Here was my plan. I put one here, just wedged up against a wall, and so that'll cover that entire side of the cell block. This one comes with me, and the other one is in the other cell, so anyone who comes around here is going to get, a face full of lead. And things start normally.
Here they come.
Like, a guy comes by, gets taken care of in short order, and then nothing. Like, guards just don't appear for the entire duration of it. And I think I have a theory then. If you're not in an area where they expect you to be, then the game just doesn't make them appear. Which means, yeah, honestly, that is all kind of boring. So, apropos of nothing, while I do definitely succeed in that run, I feel like it ends up cheating the game a little bit, and myself. I accomplish nothing, and I learn nothing. It's sad that you can't see the difference. But anyway, I decide that I'm going to take a different run to it and actually play the game by its own rules. What's nice about these turrets, actually, is that you don't actually need the gravity gun in order to set them up. The game just lets you use your own, bare hands for it, so you don't have to, deal with, any kinds of weird physics shenanigans. You can just yoink and... Okay, so maybe some physics shenanigans happen anyway, but you get what I'm saying. So, basic crossfire plan. Which kind of immediately goes wrong, because, well, when it comes right down to it, they have no basis for keeping themselves steady. A wall is good, but a barrel is insufficient. So I end up having to scramble a little bit and redo my plan. But I think that's sort of the magic of these sequences, is that you're not just sitting around and just passively letting the turrets do all the work. There is a lot of recovery and thinking on the fly that happens due to how dynamic the AI is for these guards. They'll try to circle around, take things from different angles, they'll throw grenades to flush you out. They are not stupid by any means. They're limited by the geography, or the geometry, I should say, of what they're actually allowed to do, but nonetheless, when you actually dig down into their code, they are capable of doing some pretty advanced things. I wonder if anyone's trying to do a pure run where it's just them, no turrets at all, just fighting against the tide, using only their own weaponry. I think that would be kind of an interesting challenge run, and I'll bet that somebody has done it. The manhacks are kind of interesting. The turrets have trouble actually hitting them, and they'll also just shove against the turrets repeatedly. They're not much of a threat against you, but they can really disrupt a nest if you're not careful. I honestly wish that Half-Life 2 would have more of these, strategic things. The actual practice of shooting enemies is nowhere near as interesting as the aspect of planning for enemies and coming up with various means of taking care of them. And I think that it's these sorts of special missions that actually make Half-Life 2 shine. You've been shown exactly what turrets are capable of in Nova Prospekt, so that when you come to Entangled, you're immediately thinking, okay, what can I do in order to set them up in a way that I can account for the what's the word? The weaknesses of these turrets. It's just very, very fascinating, I think.
Sorry to take so long, Gordon. Looks like you could have used some help. I won't leave you again, though. Now let's track down Mossman.
I haven't really mentioned too much about Alex's, zappy thingy, because I don't think the game ever explains it either. She just has a device that can integrate with Combine tech, and she just uses it. I kind of prefer that, actually, where a game doesn't have to explain to you how it is that something works. You can just extrapolate yourself based on the fact that it does work that way. It's sort of like the Doctor's sonic screwdriver from Doctor Who. You don't need to know why it works on every device. It's just a device that helps the plot move along. This whole blackout sequence would be a whole lot more fun if they didn't then turn off on the emergency lights. If it was a case of having to fight Combine in the dark and only seeing them by the lights of their eyes, well, that would be pretty darn cool. The game's going to explore the idea of darkness as a mechanic later on in episode 1, and yeah, I can't wait to show that off.
Mission failure will result in permanent off-world assignment. Code reminder.
Great, another security station.
Coagulated plant.
All right, Martin, where are you? Ha. Found her. Ha! Got you now. Uh-oh. Well, come on, Gordon. We don't want to keep her waiting. Seal this door. No turning back now. There she is. Leave it talking to me, Gordon. We may need her to get out of here.
Hello? Oh, thank God someone... Alex? Gordon, how did you get in here?
We know all about you and Breen.
What?
You've been a spy for the Combine the whole time.
What are you talking about?
Damn it! Move back, Mossman. We're coming in.
Alex, whatever you may think, I assure you I have worked to protect your father.
Shut up and be glad you're still some use to us. We're going to reconfigure this teleport and get the hell out of here.
You see, we're working to the same end. I've already reprogrammed the modulator to emulate a Zen relay.
That's my father's work you stole.
It's my work, too. And I had to prove to Dr. Breen that your father would be the most valuable member of any research effort going forward.
Enough of your bullshit! Look, Gordon, there's my dad. I'm going to bring him in.
You found Eli?
No thanks to you. Just enter the coordinates for Dr. Kleiner's lab and let's get moving.
But we need access to the teleport platform and we're locked out.
I'll take care of that. Let's get going.
Yeah, she kind of just phased through the door there.
Oh my God. And you've been working with this thing? For how long?
Never. Until now. I did have a fairly good idea of what to expect.
I'll bet you did. It looks like it's waiting for us.
The Combine used a peculiar pulse-forming network with a very long rise time. Takes quite a while to recharge.
So you've warmed it up for us. Good. And just in time. Dad, down here! Sorry we took so long. I hope that wasn't too bad for you.
Don't worry about me, sweetheart. Judith! I see they set you free.
Not exactly.
Eli! I was so worried about you.
The coordinates, Dr. Mossman.
So, this is the Combine. It's smaller than I imagined.
Hurry up, Mossman! Dr. Kleiner!
Yes, Alex. Where are you?
We're in Nova Prospect, and we're running the Zen emulation for the first time. Are you ready for us?
Ready, willing, and fully enabled.
Good. We'll send my dad through first. He's in position for... What's that? Hold on, gotta bring this back down. No! Stop! What are you doing?
I'm sorry, Alex. It's the only way.
Get back!
What's going on,
God!
Alex? Jonas! What's happening?
Dr. Kleiner, you have to stop them.
Stop who, my dear?
Oh my god! What coordinates are these? Where the hell did she take him? No. Cover me, Gordon. I've got to reset the portal.
Yep, it's time for our third and last turret section. Now, I do have to actually give a little bit of a revision of what I said before. You see, I thought that, seeing as Judith Mossman said that the Combine were capable of teleportation here on Earth, that the teleporter that's in Nova Prospect was stolen from Eli's lab. But no, apparently it's just their own portal. I guess that should have been a hint, but because of the whole thing where the control voice is like, failure will lead to permanent off-world reassignment, there'd have to be some way in order to actually get them off-world. But at the same time, though, it does seem very peculiar that the portal would basically look like the same kind of portal that, you know, the good guys use. Which makes me wonder, just how truthful was Dr. Mossman when she said that she only was working on it recently? It's a decent question to ask. Anywho, for this turret section, the Combine filter in through 3 very basic locations. So you just get a turret set up on each one with a long distance, and they basically have nothing they can do except throwing a grenade in order to disrupt you. The sight lines are incredibly generous here, and so they're basically walking into a kill box. You can actually, like if you shoot grenades, you can like scoot them away a little bit. And if you're very good, like with some guns, you can even shoot grenades in order to basically parry them in midair. I'd like to show that off at some point. It's really cool when you can pull it off. I mean, it's not taking that long. This whole section is only like, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. And when you consider that you've also got Alex providing fire support, yeah. This section, like if you place the turrets poorly, like your first idea might be just to place them both going forward, and then you'd be like flanked from the sides. But no, like if you know what you're doing, then it's pretty trivial in order to hold them off.
God, it's done. Let's get the hell out of here. These readings are scaring me. Okay, Doc, we're locked on.
I await your arrival with great anticipation.
Come on, Gordon. Get in!
And not a moment too soon, it seems. We'll be seeing more of these folks in white later on, but yeah, they're bad news. Regardless though, yeah, this is the end of Nova Prospect, in more ways than one. I'll see you next time, where things really start to heat up.